So, hello everyone, welcome back to another vehicular series of the Deercast. You can see here a beautiful Honda Quadbike. Now, I picked this up yesterday. It is a TRX 350 bike from 1986. Which I believe was the first year that Honda made these bikes, if you can believe it. So this bike is 39 years old, which is 10 years older than me. So as you can see, she's in a bit of a sorry state. There's certainly a few bits that need attention, and one that we'll probably cover quite a lot of that in another video. Because there's a lot to do here. I'm not under any illusions that there's a lot to get on with. But she runs, she drives, and all of the running gear and the engine and the frame all seem to be in quite good nick.
So as we were later to discover, neither the frame nor the mechanics of this quad bike were in good nick.
So those were the main things that I was concerned about, because I can do a bit of spannering and a bit of mechanical work, but when it comes to welding and things like that, and serious engine stuff like pistons and valves, that's probably a bit out of my league. And everything on it seems to be fairly good. As you can see, we're in neutral. And that. No, he says. There we go. On the button. Almost. The carb probably needs a good bit of cleaning. The chap who I bought it from, he literally had left it sitting in a shed for 12 years. And he had it in his family, and he was a farmer for, well, he was 30, so it had been in his family for at least that time. So it hasn't had a hell of a lot done to it. He literally took it out the shed, he's put a battery on it, he put some new brake cables on it, so the rear brakes now work, and he didn't even touch the carb. And that noise, I think, is the starter not engaging properly, so a little bit to do there. Here she is in all her glory. See, there's a fair bit of rust and no real seat to speak of. That is an issue we'd like to get addressed. Plastics, again, fairly non-existent. Not sure what can be done about those. From a cursory search of the internet, doesn't seem to be an abundance of second-hand plastics available. The tyres, there's some meat still left on them, albeit not a huge amount. Rims, it is obviously a 350cc engine with a kickstart. That does work. None of the electrics work on the bike at all. No lights, apart from on the gauge cluster. This is a exhaust, believe it or not. That's obviously the tow bar. Rear brakes, all very rusted, needs a bit of attention. This side is particularly ugly at the moment. All needs a good degrease, clean a lot of the muck off. That's the airbox and everything. There would have been proper plastics to cover all of that. Helmet holder, I've just seen that, interesting. And the front also looks particularly bad because this is all quite rusty, but I think the important thing to note is that the frames are like this a lot of the way around, but actually, you know, that is just surface corrosion. Oddly, surprisingly, the CV boots, sorry, are all intact with their proper clips on. We'll see whether there's any fluid in them or not. That remains to be seen. There is quite a lot of play in these steering components, but that's not surprising given the age, so those will probably need doing at some point. It does run and drive absolutely fine. The shocks, again, pretty rusted, but they seem to function. And actually, all of the drive shafts and things. So it's obviously constant four-wheel drive, and this is, I imagine, where the transfer box is, because these are the output shafts. These are in fairly good nick. I imagine they must surely have been replaced at some point. They're not split or cracked or anything like that. There is a little bit of oil coming from the underside of the engine, but I think given the age that's to be expected. There are sort of wires and tubes going all over the shop, none of which I really know what they do at this point. I would really like to get the lights working at some point, especially as I'm obviously going to use this for mainly picking up deer. And I think there is a little bit of a tick on the engine. If I just... that's interesting. Let's done that again. Oh, that was the choke. So I think the carb needs a bit of cleaning, because it is, well, hasn't actually been touched at all. So there's a little bit of a tick. I think you can probably hear it if I rev up the engine a little bit. Hang on. That little tick there. As soon as it goes away. And I think that is likely to be, from my research, the timing chain. And there's a little adjuster right here. So it may just need to be tightened, or it may need wholesale replacement. But she goes through the gears, she runs, she drives, and I'm quite pleased. And she wasn't overly expensive, so we can afford to put a bit of money into making her functional and in a good state once more.
So we hope you've enjoyed this video, everyone. Please tune in for further episodes where we'll be showing you Harry and I attempting to fix and improve this quad. As per usual, please remember to comment, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.